Okay. Hi. Are you feeling like exploring love today? I've had some fun and introspection and reflection that has come from just taking in a few things. It's like, I know how I see it, and let's gather some other ways of looking at love. So I have a few things today that I would like to read to you, and then we can explore from there. Let's start by breathing and just really getting into the moment that we only ever have, this one. Being present to what's going on. Where are you at? Are you thinking about something that's happened earlier in the day? Are you thinking about what I need to do after this? It's like, oh, I wish you'd get on with it so we can just... Is there anything that you would like to let go of from your mind so that you can be more present in this moment for yourself? Let's just have a couple more breaths together. Just really allow that oxygen to be sucked in, brought in, right down to the depths of your lower lung lobes. Allowing that belly to pop out, the sides of your body, back of the body. What is it like to breathe in love? If you're breathing in through your nose, is there a smell to love when you imagine that? If you're breathing in through your mouth, is there a taste? What does love taste like? When love enters your lungs, what does it feel like? For me, it was, the smell was, and this is interesting because this is conditioned, right? Roses. And then what also popped up was a memory of, I got some organic oils in a pack, and one was rose. And it was really strong. Really strong. Stronger than I like. And I was surprised. That thought popped up. In the tasting it, when I tasted it, it had a light, sweet flavor. Not super sweet, just on the sweet side. And the feeling was like clean, clear, almost. If you want to share, you can. It's curious, isn't it? How all of the senses in our body respond to what we're thinking, give us feedback, provide information, take us places. Even in this moment, took me to a memory. But we only have this moment. So, I'm mick-eye-la. Love has come up before. Tom, 1 + 19. Tell me what that's about. Please continue to share. I'll continue to talk and then I'll come back to anything in the chat. Last summer, sitting in my hammock, I was out camping. I had a lot of time on my own and a lot of exploration. And stuff came to me around love and what love is. And I really saw it so clearly as not what we typically speak about in it, that, oh, we love someone, we love our children in a certain way, we love our partner. And it was more around the partner love that I could see this contrast more clearly. And that was that I love Rob. I do. I love him. But it's almost like there's a base of love. I do see it as the foundation of what we are. Infinite intelligence, peace, love, freedom, benevolence, joy. Love to me is in that mix. What I kind of saw was that, and I did speak with Rob about it, because I wanted to qualify it. I prefer him. When as our relationship developed, it was like I preferred him more and more. There were things about him that resonated, attracted. And in this whole idea of love and how I love someone so much, and that it was, I do love him. But it was, there was, I can see how this was something so much more than, like, richer and deeper than the love that we might typically talk about. I love you so much. I love when you do that. I love that about you, or this. It was like the base, the foundation, the unconditionalness, that it's just like, yeah, I love you. And there's these things that light me up inside about you. how he is with the kids, when he's really listening to me, how like wonderful that feels. And we can say those are things that I love about them. And it's like, yeah, but I also, if I'm going to say that, then it's like, I also love when my friends and my, family members, sisters, or whoever are present to me and they light things up in me. It's like love. We spark. Love is your true nature, and it sparks things. It sparks in you, and it lights you up from inside and has you feeling so great. But it's not the other that's doing it. Yeah, is like they sparked it within you. It was already there. It's just like they've inadvertently, not even on purpose, spark something in you that you love from within. So the point of this talk was really like, let's look at love. Let's look at it from the universal perspective, mostly. And we can see how we look at it from a personal perspective, personal mind, our special relationships. Yeah. I see love as our state. But I'm gonna start by reading a couple things. I hope you're okay with this. I think it'll be good. One is I'm going to start with Sydney Banks. So a really simple spiritual and psychological understanding that I came across a few years ago, called The Three Principles, is by a gentleman, Sydney Banks. He was a Scottish welder, just a really simple man, had a mind-blowing insight, saw through to what life is, saw through all the thoughts, saw that we are infinite intelligence. God is living, expressing through us, and then we get to experience that expression through the senses of our physical body. He saw through that everything that we are experiencing is of our own making from inside of us, not something caused by something outside of us, and then that's what we're feeling. You make me feel so good. No, that's not how it works. You feel so good around someone because of something that they are catalyzing within you. It's already there. You're feeling it. You have a thought about it. When I'm really listened to, when Rob really listens to me, I have a thought about it. I'm being honored. I'm being listened to. I'm being recognized. I'm feeling my own thought about that. If I want to talk, but he's distracted, he's busy, it's not the right time, he's got things going on, and I'm sort of and he knows, like, come with, we do this sometimes. Life is like that. Come, follow me, come with me. I gotta, and then talking. It's not as satisfying. If it's something like coordinating something, that's okay. But if it's something like deep, heartfelt thing, like, oh, I really want to share this, that won't do. And I'll have a thought about that. I'll get like irritated or annoyed or whatever. That too is from inside. I'm feeling that. So no one can have you feeling love for them. It's not what they're doing or saying. It's what you're thinking about it. It's your interpretation. It's what you're making of it. So, anyways, Sydney Banks. He really saw clearly, and I connected to the language. This isn't new. All the spiritual teachers really, not all, because I'm sure there's many that point to something maybe different, but they're all pointing to, you are infinite intelligence, you are God, you are fully abundant, and you experience the feeling of your own thinking. So Sydney, in his book, The Missing Link, Reflections on Philosophy and Spirit, and I'm just going to scooch to, I want to read one part in it on feelings, and this is a little bit of a personal feelings, and then we'll later go into the universal. Our feelings are the barometer of our thoughts. When the mind is filled with positive thoughts, cause and effect rule, resulting in a positive feeling. When the mind is filled with negative thoughts, again, cause and effect rule, creating a negative feeling. I guess I just could have read this because he just is saying what I was saying. Our feelings are evidence of our mental well-being. Find positive and loving feelings, for they will guide you through life far better than resentment and grudges. Positive thoughts and feelings will assist you to discover the mental health and wisdom that lie within you. When you learn to forgive those who have wronged you in the past, you clear your mind and bring harmony into your life, allowing you to see what is instead of what isn't. What isn't is life seen through distorted memories. What is life seen as it truly is now, clear of all falsehoods. The tormented mind, which entertains love and forgiveness as guests, will surely attain new heights. So really, simply, it's the feelings that we talk about, the emotions, that is like not the same as the foundation, the base of who we are. I was just thinking about bringing my whiteboard out, but I feel like I got lost a lot of other stuff going. So, because how I see is the foundation of the source that's living through us is like, that is love. That is love. The emotions that we have of like, oh, I feel loved, or I love you so much. Those emotions in that way can rise and fall with our thinking. So I want to distinguish between love as an emotion, like I'm sad, I'm happy, I love, I feel loved, because sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. Sometimes you feel sadness, sometimes you feel happy, sometimes you feel joy, sometimes you feel love. How we kind of bandy it about can be one of those. So I think it's important to distinguish it. The love, the universal love that I'm talking about is, well, it's a good representation here by A Return to Love with Marianne Williamson. Reflections on the Principles of A Course in Miracles. But how she talks about who we are. So settle in. Christine, I'm not convinced that Rob's distraction is my own feelings. Can you explain this a bit more? Oh, sure. I'm not convinced that Rob's distraction is my own feelings. Yeah. So when I was talking about, like, when he's really present to me and like he's looking, we're still, we're present to the moment, and I can see it. You feel it, right? You can feel, you can sense, and you can feel when someone is present to you. So when he's present to me, there is a feeling in that. Feels good to me. And then there's times when oh, I've got something that I want to talk about. He's moving about the house because he's got to get off to some hockey thing. He's very involved in local hockey. And he'll say, come along. And if it's something that's just logistics, like, hey, I'm going here, she's going there, I need to give her a ride there, that kind of stuff. What are we doing on the weekend? I've been invited to this, going for a walk with a friend or whatever. Those kind of things I'm okay doing on the run where he's moving around. However, if I had something that I really wanted him to be present for, like, I need to know that you're hearing me because this is important to me. I want you to listen. And it's probably the wrong time if he's running out the door. But if he is like distracted in some way, and I sense that he's not really feeling me, being present to me, I'll get irritated or feel like, oh, you're not listening. Just stop. Can you stop for a moment and just listen? Well, my irritation is not caused by his being distracted and not listening. It's caused by my judgment of, you should be listening to me. I need you to listen to me. Listen to me. You're not doing what I want. We are only ever feeling what we are making meaning of something out there. Was that clear, Christine? Okay, right. Awesome. Great. I think this is good. Like, I read it twice this morning, but it is about 5 minutes. This is the introduction to the book, and it speaks to the universalness. When we were born, we were programmed perfectly. We had a natural tendency to focus on love. Our imaginations were creative and flourishing, and we knew how to use them. We were connected to a world much richer than the one we connect to now, a world full of enchantment and a sense of the miraculous. So what happened? Why is it that we reached a certain age, looked around, and the enchantment was gone? Because we were taught to focus elsewhere. We were taught to think unnaturally. We were taught a very bad philosophy, a way of looking at the world that contradicts who we are. We were taught to think thoughts like competition, struggle, sickness, finite resources, limitation, guilt, bad, death, scarcity, and loss. We began to think these things, and so we began to know them. We were taught that things like grades, being good enough, money, and doing things the right way are more important than love. We were taught that we're separate from other people, that we have to compete to get ahead, that we're not quite good enough the way we are. We were taught to see the world the way that others had come to see it. It's as though, as soon as we got here, we were given a sleeping pill. The thinking of the world, which is not based on love, began pounding in our ears the moment we hit shore. Love is what we were born with. Fear is what we have learned here. The spiritual journey is the relinquishment or unlearning of fear and the acceptance of love back into our hearts. Last week we were talking about hearts, and someone had asked me, why is it, like, if it's love is everywhere and all that, how can we talk about it that it's in our hearts? But really, it's everywhere. But we feel it, and we've been conditioned to talk about love coming from the heart, this organ in the body. But really, love is expansive. It's everywhere. It is, in my opinion. Love is the essential existential fact. It is our ultimate reality and our purpose on earth. To be consciously aware of it, to experience love in ourselves and others, is the meaning of life. Meaning doesn't lie in things. Meaning lies in us. When we attach value to things that aren't love, the money, the car, the house, the prestige, we are loving things that can't love us back. Wow. We are searching for meaning in the meaningless. Money of itself means nothing. Material things of themselves mean nothing. It's not that they're bad, it's that they're nothing. We came here to co-create with God by extending love. Life spent with any other purpose in mind is meaningless, contrary to our nature, and ultimately painful. It's as though we've been lost in a dark, parallel universe where things are loved more than people. We overvalue what we perceive with our physical senses and undervalue what we know to be true in our hearts. Love isn't seen with the physical eyes or heard with physical ears. The physical senses can't perceive it. It's perceived through another kind of vision. Metaphysicians call it the third eye. Esoteric Christians call it the vision of the Holy Spirit, and others call it the higher self. Regardless of what it's called, love requires a different kind of seeing than we're used to, a different kind of knowing or thinking. Love is the intuitive knowledge of our hearts. It's a world beyond that we all secretly long for. An ancient memory of this love haunts all of us all the time and beckons us to return. This is going home. Love isn't material, it's energy. It's the feeling in a room, a situation, a person. Money can't buy it, sex doesn't guarantee it. It has nothing at all to do with the physical world, but it can be expressed nonetheless. We experience it as kindness, giving, mercy, compassion, peace, joy, acceptance, non-judgment, joining, and intimacy. Fear is our shared lovelessness, our individual and collective hells. It's a world that seems to press on us from within and without, giving constant false testimony to the meaninglessness of love. When fear is expressed, we recognize it as anger, abuse, disease, pain, greed, addiction, selfishness, obsession, corruption, violence, and war. Love is within us. It cannot be destroyed, but can only be hidden. The world we knew as children is still buried within our minds. I once read a delightful book called The Mists of Avalon. The Mists of Avalon are a mythical allusion to the tales of King Arthur. Avalon is a magical island that is hidden behind huge impenetrable mists. Unless the mists part, there is no way to navigate your way to the island. But unless you believe the island is there, the mists won't part. I got goosebumps. Avalon symbolizes a world beyond the world we see with our physical eyes. It represents a miraculous sense of things, the enchanted realm that we knew as children. Our childlike self is the deepest level of our being. It is who we really are, and what is real doesn't go away. The truth doesn't stop being the truth just because we're not looking at it. Love merely becomes clouded over or surrounded by mental mists. Thought. Avalon is the world we knew when we were still connected to our softness, our innocence, our spirit. It's actually the same world we see now, but informed by love, interpreted gently with love and faith and a sense of wonder. It's easily retrieved because perception is a choice. The mists part when we believe that Avalon is behind them. And that's what a miracle is, a parting of the mists, a shift in perception, a return to love. anything that comes out, like, feel free to share, or questions or ponderings. What I really get from this and hear, and it's like a confirmation, that we have this wonderful foundation of love, of wisdom, and simply, very simply and innocently, we've just got caught up in all of these things outside of us. Caught up in all of these things that we feel that we need to do, or we should do, or we gotta do, or we see what someone else is doing and we want that. It's good to, now let me preface this with God as creator, we, the image, that the vessels which we are expressed through, universal energy, infinite intelligence and possibility. Things that we just can't conceive of with our little minds, because all that's here is the past. All that's housed here is the past. That's it. It can't conceive of what's possible in this moment, even. I lost track of where I was going with that. Oh, right. It was around wanting. We are creative energy. We are meant to create. We are creative. I was going to say machines, but that's just a metaphor. Was that we create. We create, we create, we create. We create every moment of every day. We are being recreated from inside. The cells of your body from a minute ago are not all the same cells that are active in your body now. We create without even knowing we're creating. And we will want to say things, do things, try things, create things, go places. That's part of our creative nature. There is, when we talk about humility, and we shouldn't want, and I'm thinking about past teachings that, you should be happy with what you got and all of that. It's like, no, you shouldn't. No, because you're creative. You will always want something more and better. That is not, if you're like, oh, I want if it's all about, here's the distinction. If it's a desire from within, if it is something that's coming from universal energy, from God, a delight, it's going to feel good. If it's ooh, I really want that new, I don't know anything about vehicles, a new fancy, or let's go with a new iPhone. I really want that new iPhone, and it's not because you want that, but it's not like oh my gosh, I want that iPhone because I got one that it has an extra camera thing on it because I love taking pictures. It wasn't ooh, I gotta have that because it's the best and the great, and it's not, and I got it used, but it's not that. It was like yeah, look at the stuff I can create with this. Look at the things I can do with this. Fun to me. So there are things that will want to be created. You will always be guided towards what's going to make you feel better. That's going to bring joy. That's going to have you living in that state of love. The only thing you can do is resist it. You can allow it or resist it. When you allow it, it feels good. The love flows. When you resist, fear sets in. It's the resistance actually is the fear. And that's just thought. It's just thought. Sharon, hello. I'm glad I found you again. What is the name of the book you were reading from? This is Marianne Williamson. This is a really old book. A Return to Love, Reflections on the Principles of A Course in Miracles. I studied A Course in Miracles for a period of time. A lot. I'm so curious since, welcome, Sharon, by the way. I'm curious now, after discovering the 3 principles of mind, consciousness, and thought, as articulated by Sydney Banks, how I would make new sense of A Course in Miracles. I have a family member who studies the Bible, and she shares things with me now because we grew up, we were raised Catholic, and I don't participate in the religion in that sense, but she is sharing with me as we have come to know more that God is not to be feared, because that's how we were raised. It was God-fearing, and it was very scary. Religion was scary. Church, it was like, why do we want to go there, really? Because we're just being made to be afraid of this. And it's like, I've discovered over, many years that, oh, it's not that at all. And it's like, that's actually living us. It was cool. But I'm starting to, she's sharing with me, the story about this and that. Well, this is what it means. Oh my gosh, why didn't they just say so? It was so much nicer. Yeah, you're welcome, Sharon. So, there's never just one path to love, to who you are. There's many different ways that you can make sense of it or understand it, or someone will say something, you'll feel it. This whole idea about unconditional love. I have another thing that I would love to share, but I'm going to save it to the end. I actually had a cry, a shoulder shaking cry over it earlier this morning because it touched me so much. So it's like, oh, I got to share it because it's so beautiful. And let's do it towards the end in case I lose it. No, I won't lose it, but it's good. There's one, I don't know how much I'll read about this, but do you know how many, hi Tatiana, nice to see you. Tatiana says, hi mick-eye-la and everyone here, beautiful souls. Yeah. You've probably all heard about Richard Carlson, Don't Sweat the Small Stuff guy. I have a few of his books, and I was thrilled last night to find this one when I was thinking about what else, who else would be, have something about love. So this one is Don't Sweat the Small Stuff in Love. My husband bought it for me many years ago. And a little bit about Richard Carlson. Richard Carlson was a student of Sydney Banks many years ago. And this was brought to my attention because one of my mentors, Michael Neal, he told this story about when he first heard about these things called the 3 principles, and he was Googling it, right? Trying to find stuff. And he said it was really difficult. That was 15 years ago, 20, I'm not sure. It was difficult for him to find anything. And the only thing that he could really see, and they was called different things, health realization, I can't remember, because there was a number of psychiatrists and psychologists who were in the study, who were studying with this man, this welder, who had this experience and just saw things so clearly. There is anyway, and he just said, this is going to change the world of psychology and psychiatry forever. And I got goosebumps again. I'm actually, the book that that thing that made me cry is actually, she's a psychiatrist. And she's been studying the 3 principles in, Sydney Bank, living this. I mean, it's like life. It's nothing really even to study. You study your own life to see it, really. Test it out for yourself. That's kind of how you make use of this understanding. Like, test it out and see how it's true. Anyway, she's like 81 years old and has been in this understanding for 40-some years. Has an incredible stories to share. Anyway, Richard Carlson, Michael Neal, he said this was really the only guy who he could see who was kind of doing anything out in the world that he could like grab onto. Richard Carlson was a student of it. And he wrote all these books, and then, I don't really know where he is now. But that was interesting to me. But really what I wanted to share on here, because their book, and this particular book, he wrote with his wife, Chris, and Christine, and he calls it Chris. And I was a little like, oh, they don't actually talk about, what is love. They didn't actually talk about that. But it's a really cool book, and I will read it again. I don't think I've ever actually read through it, but I'm going to use it as a reference because there's really cool things in here. So I think Rob and I there's definitely things in here that would be helpful. What I wanted to talk about was, one, they say simple ways to nurture and strengthen your relationships while avoiding the habits that break down your loving connection. And that's one of the things that his name is Richard Carlson, PhD. Yeah, don't sweat the small stuff. He has so many of them. What I wanted to point to was that the connection, the habits that break down your loving connection. Now, habits are just thoughts. That's it. Don't make it a big thing because it's not. You're welcome, Tatiana. Habits are just thoughts that you've gotten into a rhythm of just doing it. So it's kind of, you're not present to them. Those habits can change in a minute. It doesn't take 21 days, 30 days, 60, 70, 80, 90, whatever the latest thing is that they say it takes to change a habit. I absolutely 100% disagree. It can change in a moment. As soon as you see something that makes better sense, that habit can change just like that. It may take a bit, but there's no magic number. It's just awareness. Awareness that it's just thought. And thoughts come and go like the clouds. You don't get the same clouds with the same formation circling around, circling around, circling around. That doesn't happen. It's changing all the time. Your every moment of every day is a gentle opportunity to choose differently. Choose something that makes better sense. But when we say, no, it's a habit, I've been doing it forever, this is how it's always been done, this is what happened, we are defending it. We're protecting that habit. It doesn't need protection, it's just thought. We can just let it go. What would feel better? What would feel just a little better? Anyway, I digress. The loving connection. That's the thing. We're all connected by this stuff. It's energy. It's just a benign, kind energy. And speaking of kindness, that's the only thing I'm really going to read from this, because this is sort of what jumped out. So it's like, okay, I'll go with what I'm guided to bring to it. Okay. Just little excerpts of it. So above all else, so be kind first. And this was Chris, his wife's, one of her pieces that she contributed. Above all else, adopt an attitude of kindness. Make it your highest priority to practice it every day. Start at home in your relationship. Kindness is one of the primary ingredients in nourishing a warm feeling between two people. In fact, it can be the centerpiece of your entire relationship. It does everything from keeping you close and connected when all is well to keeping arguments from turning into fights. Being genuinely kind is not about smiling when you don't feel like it or acting cheerful when you're low. Rather, it's about treating your partner and everyone else the way you would like to be treated. It's been said many times that in life, we teach people how to treat us. It's certainly true that the best way to teach others, including our partner, that we would like to be treated with kindness is by offering our kindness first. Indeed, kindness is extremely contagious. I'm scooching ahead. We've learned that it's easy to be kind when things are going well and when your partner is being kind first. It's a different story, however, when things aren't going so well or when your partner isn't being so nice. This, however, is the time when it's most important to practice kindness. In fact, these are some of the most defining moments of your relationship. People are like mirrors of one another. For the most part, we get back that which we put out. The next time the person you love is having a bad day, try something a little different. Look them in the eye with a smile that says, "It's okay," and "I love you all the time, even when you're low." Chances are if you do, you'll get a smile in return. We think you'll agree that kindness, practiced on a daily basis, is one of the key ingredients to nourishing your partnership for a lifetime. Now we can apply that to all relationships, from your neighbor, to your children, to your parents, to your partners, to the people at work. That is the natural state. Kindness, love, to me, they kind of all mesh together. If there's anything that you want to share or ask or whatever, please do. I'll wait and see if there is anything just for a moment, and then I'll read that letter that had me boo-hooing this morning. I'm actually going to have a sip of water. I'm curious if this is like, yeah, this makes sense, mick-eye-la, or if it's like, I think you're off your rocker. I disagree. I'm good with it all because we're all here to learn and to hear different perspectives. And that's why I thought, oh, it'd be cool to bring, actually, before I read that one, I'm going to read a few things, but continue. Feel free to write something if you like. This is from Sydney Banks. Now, this book is actually more a series of quotes of his. Some of it has a little bit of a stream, but some is just, bits and pieces, kind of. So this chapter is called Love and Forgiveness. And if you've come in late, this book is The Missing Link. Reflections on Philosophy and Spirit by Sydney Banks. So I'll read a few things on here, and we won't go into the forgiveness thing because it's like another thing in my mind, or not another thing, but it could go, well, we can go wherever you would like. Love and understanding harmonize the mind of humanity to its true inner nature. Love and the word understanding is italicized. Love and understanding harmonize the mind of humanity to its true inner nature. When we understand how life works, that how our experience works, that we think and then we feel the meaning that our thinking has made it, that's good to know. Because it's not just true for you, it's true for everyone. So all the people in your life that you love are thinking and feeling their thinking. And then what? And then they behave in a certain way. And they act out in a certain way. They do things, they say things, they respond or react to life based on their thinking. And it might not feel good. You might not agree with it. It might, if it's teenage kids, it might make you afraid for them. It's not really afraid for them. That's your own fear. You can only be afraid for yourself. You can only truly feel love for yourself. Okay, I've never said that before. I just want to because something's in there for me. I just saw something new. Because you're only feeling your own thinking. Oh my gosh. No one can make you feel anything. I get that. You're only feeling your own thinking. You're only feeling whatever it is that you're making meaning of. So this whole idea about love yourself first, and that you have to love yourself first before you can love another. Oh my gosh, join me in this, because how I just saw what that means is that, of course, you're only ever experiencing your own thinking, your own feeling. Any love that you feel, you are feeling love for yourself in that moment. Otherwise, you couldn't feel it. It's there. Oh, okay, good. I just saw this difference again when I spoke about it at the beginning of the call. Sorry, this is real-time stuff happening here. People, friends, folks. I can see how tricky can be this whole idea of love as an emotion, as a feeling, and love as the base of who you are. The more in tune, the more you are settled into your true nature, the more you're feeling good. You're feeling calm. You're feeling settled. You're not caught up and confused and debating, and you're just really settled. Okay, I'm going to continue. What you give in life is what you receive. Yeah. To give love is to receive love. To give love is to receive love. To me, that's that whole going back to the connection, your loving connection. That is what we are all, we're all connected by it. It's the energy of life. When we're giving it, really, to me, that is the natural state where we're already connected. It's almost like an opening up to it. Or we're closing off. In a lot of the energy work that I do, hearts are often boxed in or caged in or steel plates, or, it kind of shows up in that way because there's this protection. We feel we need to protect. But it doesn't need protection. It is everything already. Nothing outside can take it away or diminish it. Nothing can actually make it more. What can happen, though, is it can be revealed. And that's where, when we feel a connection with someone, whether it's our children or anyone, and we feel like, open, our hearts, it's like, oh, my heart is open, or I just feel such love. I love them so much. It's like something in them is resonating, and it's like it opens the heart. It's like it takes the shackles off, the armor. A mind full of love and good feelings can never go wrong. Yeah. 2 more bits in here. A heart full of love is void of all judgment and is filled with divine spirit. That is like unconditional. That is, again, just that foundation of who we all are. Void of all judgment. That is, judgment is thought, right? Everything is thought. That judgment is, that's where conditions come in. I love this little ending to this chapter. There is no way to guarantee a trouble-free life. Life is like any other contact sport. You may encounter hardships of one sort or another. Wise people find happiness not in the absence of such hardships, but in their ability to understand them when they occur. And that understanding what we're understanding when they occur is that we're only experiencing what we're making that whole situation mean. So, in talking about, just because he did the sports, I have sports in my brain, and hockey tryouts have, are in the midst locally. And there are going to be some athletes that make the team, and there will be some athletes that are cut. And there will be a lot of emotion because of the meaning. I got cut. I wasn't good enough. I wanted to play with my friends. There's so much. But if we look at the fact of, okay, I got cut. I'm going to play hockey. I'm playing hockey. And some athletes are good with that. Some athletes, they just want to play. They're okay wherever they are. They know that they're going to play. It's just like, am I playing here? Is it going to be more competitive? I mean, it's going to be competitive no matter where. That's the whole point. Everyone gets competition because they're slotted in with their level of ability. And then it makes it more fun, actually. But if they don't understand that, and it's just all about, oh my God, I wasn't good enough, or I got cut, or, there's things. So the more meaning we make of it, and the more we churn about in those thoughts, the ickier we're going to feel. So when we understand that, right, I feel icky, and I understand that I can only feel my own thinking. It actually has nothing to do with out there. I'm making meaning of that. This is the meaning I'm making. It doesn't feel good. And it's my choice how long I'm going to hang out in this energy. So, getting on to, great, I'm playing here. How fun. Who's my team? Where's my mates? There is a gentle choice point that we get. Did you have anything that you wanted to share or ask? I know we're already over the top of the hour, but I'm okay to stay a bit if you are. I'm going to read this letter. I highly recommend this book. I highly recommend that you buy a bunch of them and you give them to all the teenagers, the young people, all the people in your life. It's called It's That Simple, A User's Manual for Human Beings by Mavis Karn. Foreword by Michael Neal. It is letters. There's 16 letters that Mavis wrote. Now, Mavis Karn is a beautiful, I think she's 81 now. She's still in practice. She, she was a psychiatrist, and she's not working in that capacity. She counsels, she coaches, she listens, she guides, she points. She's a beautiful human being. You can find her on YouTube, I believe. She does have a YouTube channel, I'm pretty sure. And really, she does see it that simply. And this book all started with a letter. She did work in like a juvenile delinquent and in jails, and she's done work all over. And she has quite a colorful background. And if you look for her and you enjoy her, you will. Oh, her name again, Tatiana, is Mavis Karn, Karn. You would probably hear her tell this story, so I'll just tell a bit about it. But it was a group of young people that she worked with for like a year or 2 years. I don't know how long she worked with them. And anyways, their time was coming to an end, and she wanted to give them something, and and she didn't know what. And then finally it came to her. She wrote a letter. Well, this letter is she gave them each the letter, and the letter has since it's up in jails today. I don't know where. I just know that it graduated from these juvenile, so junior, so teen, to the where the adults are. It's very good. That's not the letter I'm reading, but you can look it up online. I'm reading the letter 15, and it's called On Loving Kindness and Shining Eyes. Hello, dear reader. I'd like to begin this letter with one of my favorite questions. When was the last time you felt the way you wish you could feel all the time? What did it feel like? I'm going to repeat that because it's a gooder. When was the last time you felt the way you wish you could feel all the time? What did it feel like? In her book, Creating the Teachable Moment, Darlene Stewart tells the story of her interaction with a young boy diagnosed with attention deficit disorder. This is all in quotation, taken from that book. When he forgot, in brackets, to take his medication or his medicine, as he did today, he was a tornado in tennis shoes. Windows shook when he passed. Now, slumped against the wall, he was unnaturally quiet. Looking at the defeated boy, my mood dropped too. From that state of mind, I had no techniques, no words of advice or encouragement. I felt like I'd said it all before, hundreds of times. Not expecting an answer, I asked, Danny, what in the world do you want? Without hesitation, Danny one momento. I'm being overwhelmed with emotion. Without hesitation, Danny looked at me and said, I want shining eyes. A big hole opened in front of me. What do you mean? I asked, already knowing the answer. Danny said, I want shining eyes. I want someone, when they... Oh, one moment. Can't see the words. Oh, man, oh, man. This is a good one to end on. Pardon me. What do you mean? I asked, already knowing the answer. Danny said, I want shining eyes. I want someone, when they see me, to get eyes that are soft and wet and shiny, like they have light coming from behind. Shining eyes. That's what I want. And this is back to Mavis. While on the one hand, that's a beautiful story about a little boy who desperately wanted to experience love, it's also a story about a woman who understood that's what he wanted and was happy to give it to him, who was able to see past his behavior to who he really was. We can all do that. We can all stop getting fooled by our own unhelpful habits and the unhelpful habits of others. All Danny wanted was to be treated with loving kindness, even when he was misbehaving or in a low mood. And it turns out that loving kindness looks a lot like shining eyes. How you choose to be kind doesn't matter as much as that you choose. Find that place in you that is naturally full of kindness, compassion, and grace, and act from there. Any action taken from that place has a ripple effect we can't begin to imagine. This shining eyes thing has really got me. With loving kindness and shining eyes, Mavis. Isn't that beautiful? Oh my gosh. Don't we all just want shining eyes? This is, sorry. Oh my gosh. Thank you guys. This is so funny. Crazy. It's funny. You never know what's going to touch your heart. Since we're talking about hearts. Love. Thank you. But isn't that all just what any human being wants? Is to be looked upon, looked at, received with shining eyes, with love in them, compassion. Christine, so beautiful. That's how we can see it, right? Yeah. Yeah. So maybe we can end today with just an invitation to all of us of how we can look, receive anyone into our presence with shining eyes, with kindness and love, understanding that we're all just muddling about here on this earth, trying to have a nice life, trying to do the best we can, to feel better, to feel good. And what joy it gives us to have others feel good too. Yeah. Well, I'm so glad you were here. Thank you for sharing in this, and I hope these readings were inspiring and pointing you back to the love that you are. You can't help it. It's your nature. It's your true nature. And if there's a moment where you can't find it, where you can't locate it, just know that it's there. And it's just in the mist of cloud, of thought. That's it. You're welcome, Christine. You're welcome, Tatiana. Yeah. I love. I feel love. This emotion and this confidence that I feel, knowing that love is always flowing through me, that it is my foundation. It's infinite possibility. And that is what is living through everyone. We share that connection, that love connection. How cool is that? So I wish you a love-filled day. I hope everyone you meet today has shining eyes for you, and you might rest yours upon them too. And we'll see you again on Thursday. Messages from pains, whispers. Let's explore that. Ciao for now. Thanks for coming. See you again soon.